there, sports fans. It's a great day in the state of Louisiana, or should I say the state of baseball. We are
Nice.
still celebrating Louisiana State University Shreveport's historic season, undefeated NAIA National Championship. And now we are celebrating the LSU Tigers on their eighth
Nice.
national championship, most ever,
Nice.
next to USC. Which hasn't won since probably 1918 or whenever. I don't know.
It's like 97, basically 1918. So, yeah.
Jay Johnson and his crew from Baton Rouge took care of business in Omaha, winning the first two games out of the three-game series with Coastal Carolina to secure this championship behind the incredible pitching of Cade Anderson, most likely the number one pick in the upcoming Major League Baseball draft. But what a way for him to go out a complete game. Just incredible pitching performance. LSU does it again. They had to get some breaks to get here.
Yeah.
What's it Skip Bertman used to say? We had some good fortune, something along those lines. And I think we can all look at the Arkansas game and say, yeah, they had some good fortune. But sometimes that's what it takes to get you in a position to win a national championship, and they did. So, Darren, again, congratulations on Vanderbilt winning the SEC championship.
But it's not a national championship. So congratulations on the national championship.
In fact, this makes 6 in a row for the SEC.
The most ever by conference, correct?
Mm-hmm. How do you spell dominance?
SEC.
That started with Vanderbilt winning in 2020.
That's right.
And then we had the two Mississippi schools winning, LSU in 2023, Tennessee in 2024, and of course this year LSU again.
Yeah. Now, going back to that, to the Cade Anderson performance, that first inning started shaky. I was concerned. If you would have, I would have bet just about anything that he was not going to throw a complete game in that game to go the way it did after the, because what did he throw, like 24 pitches in the first inning or something like that?
The most he's ever thrown in a first inning this season.
It was just like, oh, this is not the way this is supposed to be happening, but it worked out. I mean, to recover, you talking about showing, even in a difficult circumstance, doing what you needed to do to show you have what it takes to move up on draft boards. Even if people, I mean, you showed you've got the stuff, you've got the tenacity, and you've got the ability to recover from that kind of inning and throw a complete game. I mean, what else do you need to show a general manager of a major league team? There's nothing else you can show, and he did it all in one game. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, if you're going to be a great pitcher, you have to have a short memory.
Absolutely.
But he came back, and I was with you, Darren. I thought, oh, goodness gracious, this is not going as we wanted it to, because there's been questions about the pitching at LSU. And really in these two wins against Coastal Carolina, LSU used basically, 3 pitchers total?
Yeah, exactly.
And the two starters, Anthony Ianson and Cade Anderson, they pitched all but 3 innings total, something like that. It's just those two just incredible pitchers really carried LSU to that win. Congrats to Coastal Carolina on a great season. Nothing to hang their heads about.
No.
But we're celebrating here in Louisiana.
Absolutely.
We got a big celebration in Baton Rouge on Wednesday tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right. That'll be a little lively. What do you think? That'll
That's a very tactful way to put it.
In Southern Louisiana, we'll go with lively. Yes, that's so their only loss the entire postseason was during their regional to like Arkansas Little Rock or something just insane, wasn't it? I mean, is that not crazy to think that was their only loss? It wasn't to Coastal Carolina. It wasn't to Arkansas. It was to and I don't even think Arkansas Little Rock is correct, but it was a small school like that. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, when you look at this LSU team and the inconsistency, I think they had 12 players coming back from last year and a whole bunch of freshmen.
Yeah.
Jay Johnson, and there were times where LSU fans were getting irritated. They weren't happy with the way things were going.
Yep.
When you lose to Northwestern State, that wasn't a good look for them.
No.
But Jay Johnson was able to keep them together, and things fell into place. The good fortune,
Yep.
and they're walking away with a national championship in a year that probably a lot of folks didn't expect them to win this. If you keep the receipts, Darren, I think the overall favorite in the SEC to win the College World Series at the preseason was A&M.
Yeah. A&M, who fell off hard. And then Vanderbilt and Texas were like, no, 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 look at us, look at us. Just kidding. We're gonna we're gonna dog out in our regional. And LSU was there at the end going, yeah, we know you weren't paying attention, but guess what?
Yeah.
And it's about winning at the right time. I mean, conference championships, all that stuff is nice, but it's about winning at the right time. And LSU did it and did it well. I mean, that was a dominant Omaha performance. They didn't just lug into a national championship. They showed up and took care of business and left no doubt, which is awesome.
And they did it with the backing of an incredible support from the fans. Every year they go to Omaha, you can count on LSU fans showing out, cheering on their team. And even as nerve-wracking as it could be, you think about, before, Coastal Carolina, the game against Arkansas and going into the ninth inning and being down 2 runs and the things that transpired in the ninth inning that allowed them to pull out a win.
Yeah.
Those are, when you see things like that, you're like, this is a special season.
Yeah, exactly. Because not only did those things happen in the ninth inning that gave them or that helped, didn't give them the game, but put things in place for them to win that game. The previous half inning before, they had tried to give it away. And then to not only have messed up the way they did in the previous half inning, but then to have that, I mean, you have to look at that and go, okay, wait a minute. This is kind of a momentum thing. This is not just we're having a good season. This is a little bit of a momentum thing, and you really could see it.
Yeah, yeah. A great day for LSU fans, a great day for the SEC as they continue to rule the college baseball world. And I think it's safe to say, Darren, now that the center of the college baseball world is currently in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Absolutely. I don't know. I mean, 2 championships in 3 years, the coach, he's done it faster than anybody else did it. What else do you need to do to be the center of the baseball universe? I think that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, you cannot, I don't think we can talk too highly of the job Jay Johnson has done.
Absolutely.
Incredible job that he's doing with LSU baseball, and hopefully it will continue.
I think so. I really do. I think, I mean, hopefully there will be many, many years of LSU and Vanderbilt fighting out the SEC championship. But I think, I mean, where else is Jay Johnson going to go? If you're LSU, you can't be worried about losing your coach. I mean, where else are you going to go and get what he gets to coach baseball? And not just pay. I'm not trivializing it on that level. Support, facilities, who you're able to recruit. Where are you going to go and get anything remotely close to what he's able to do in Baton Rouge? There is nowhere else to go.
Yeah, that's a great point, Darren. Also want to congratulate, speaking of champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who won their first ever NBA championship. Most valuable player was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a product of Kentucky, an SEC school. Had some Arkansas players on the Thunder team. So the SEC was well represented in the NBA championship. I know we don't talk about the NBA a whole lot, but we'd be remiss if we don't mention the SEC presence. And here you have the the most valuable player in the regular season in the NBA, and now the most valuable player in the NBA Finals, comes from an SEC school.
See, we were just, what was it, dominance? Was that the word we were using just a minute ago? It's not contained to just one sport. Huh. Interesting.
How about that?
When you said we had another person to congratulate, I thought you were going to congratulate the Coastal Carolina coach for being thrown out after 3 pitches. I didn't know where we were going, but anyway, we'll move past that.
Not our league. Let's just not our conference. We'll just
exactly.
We'll let those who cover Coastal Carolina talk about that.
I bet it's come up. What do you think?
I'm sure it has.
Yeah, definitely.
Now that baseball is over, we're kind of in the dry season as we are counting down the Saturdays until college football.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some news this week. Did I hear that accurately, Darren, that College Game Day is retiring the headgear picks after Corso's done this year?
I believe that's correct, which I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a thing that's unique to him. That's who else is going to do that? I mean, I get it. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
I tell you, that's going to be missed so much.
Oh yeah.
But how about the home run they hit with Nick Saban? I mean, he is fantastic on game day.
Yeah, he really is. And you know, I said I get it. It wouldn't hurt my feelings to see Nick Saban put on a headgear a couple of times. I think that would be entertaining on its own.
I can see McAfee doing that. I'm not sure I can see Saban doing that.
That's the thing. It would get your attention if you see Saban reach down under the desk.
Yeah.
But Saban is such a, he would never agree to do it because there might be a time when he has to put on like a Tennessee or an Auburn or a Michigan. He's not doing it. So he would never agree to it. Yeah. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to either.
It's going to be a Saturday tradition that will be missed in future years.
Absolutely.
But, sometimes traditions come and go. And so there'll be a new one created that we'll also come to love.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Speaking of college football, we are here in our last episode of this particular season. We're not going to be back until August. So we're taking a little break for the month of July. But before we go, we want to give you our too early preseason SEC top 5. Can I get a drum roll?
How's that? Horrible symbol, but at least a decent drum roll.
And that is all you need to know about our budget for special effects.
We emptied it out. We got nothing left.
So Darren, let's dive right into it. Let's do a countdown. Let's start with number 5 and work our way to number 1. Who is your number 5 preseason SEC top 5?
I think the first thing I'll say, if we're just being honest, is there's at least 5 teams that probably are eligible for number 5. Teams that I chose above it and teams that came in below it. I think it's a real, like maybe even 3 to 8, but especially like 4 to 8, 4 to 9. I think it's a real, it makes you kind of scary to put a number beside because it's just so up in the air. There's so much talent and so many things could happen. But I'm going to go with Ole Miss at my number 5. I believe Lane Kiffin, there's always talk about turnover and this many people and that many, leaving and coming in. I think he's ahead of the curve of figuring out how to put the team together. Even with changes, I think they made that a focus. He made that a focus very early on, kind of accepting the way things are. And so I feel like he can assemble talent and put a team together. I don't think you can give him credit to the point of saying a championship team, but I think you can give him credit to saying he can take different parts, different pieces, even when they're new, and figure out a way to put together a top 5 team. So with what they've got coming in, I feel like Ole Miss can be the number 5 team in the SEC.
And you yet again find ways to alienate Tennessee fans.
Sorry, they'll love Lane at some point. I don't know when. No, probably not. They probably.
That's a real interesting pick at number 5, Darren.
It's kind of an out of nowhere pick, but I think it does have some logic. It's not just I'm as much as I'd love to. I'm not going to put Vanderbilt at 5. I tried to be realistic, but kind of see. So, I mean, it could be a silly pick where he ends up at 10, or they end up at 10. But I think he can do some things with this team. So,
all right. I've got my number 5 in the state of Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
Kalen DeBoer has gotten his feet wet in the SEC. It wasn't what Alabama fans wanted.
Right.
But now he's got a taste of the conference. He's got a taste of all the things that go into college football season in the SEC. He survived that first year with no major scandals, no breakdowns, at least that we know of. Now he has his offensive coordinator, the one that he wanted. He's got him in town. He's got a lot of guys coming back. Isn't Alabama the only team that had no one in the transfer portal?
Correct. Yeah, no major players in the transfer portal. Yeah.
My question, and this is why I left him at number 5 instead of higher. They very well could wind up higher than that. I'm still not sold on their quarterback situation.
Great point.
Every team has, if you look at on paper, great quarterbacks on the roster.
Absolutely.
That doesn't always translate to the playing field. So that leaves me a little hesitant to move Alabama up higher. I want to see who their quarterback's going to be and how he handles those early games. So they're my number 5 as of now.
Alabama at number 5. That's it. This time 3 years ago, did you think we would have that conversation?
No.
Exactly.
We can still say, play some Skinner, man.
Yeah. That's right. They're playing the anthem.
Now, let's see. We could play, 8 seconds of Sweet Home Alabama without violating copyright?
That's right. Without getting the YouTube X. That's right.
And you don't even need 8 seconds. You play the first 3 seconds. Everybody knows what the song is.
It takes boom, boom, boom. And everybody, yep. I know what that is.
And right away when you did that, the words popped into my head. Turn it up.
Turn it up.
How about your number 4?
All right, number 4, and I will go ahead and say we'll talk about it at the end, but there's going to be a couple of notable teams missing from my top 5. I'll own up to that up front. But my number 4, I have A&M. I think they showed last year just exactly what this program looks like in a new regime, in a new era, with no Jimbo, if we just want to be blind. And I think we're seeing everything that A&M fans want to see, and we have no reason whatsoever to say, oh, well, obviously they're going to take this big step back. I mean, there may be some things happen. You have injuries. I mean, there's always silly, but there's nothing that stands out that makes you go, this could be an issue. That could be. They've got components in place. I mean, you cannot doubt what's been done with the program and the structure of the program, which I think anybody would say was one of the issues that plagued the program year in and year out under Jimbo. So I feel like this is a year for them to sustain. We didn't just have, even though they had a rough start, we didn't just have a good year last year. This is showing you where our program is going, and I feel like this will be their year. I'm not really ready to make them a top 3, a championship contender at this point. I've got to see a little bit more, but I feel like they can be a number 4 team with where they are and what they're doing and what they've shown us. So my number 4 is A&M.
My number 4 led me to College Station as well, Darren,
Oh,
for
did it really?
all the reasons that you just shared. In addition to Elko's a good coach.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate Elko. They have a quarterback, Marcel Reed.
Mm-hmm.
The kid is incredibly talented, and he showed some flashes
Yeah.
of the potential that he has. If that materializes,
Yeah.
look out the rest of the SEC. That guy is going to be hard to defend against. I like this A&M team. Elko's got another year here where he has continued to mold the roster to who he wants on that roster,
Exactly.
and A&M is one of those places where money is no object. So I like A&M at number 4. I'm
Mm-hmm.
waiting to see kind of how the offense develops around Marcel Reed,
Exactly.
and that's why I don't have them higher than number 4.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point. And I mean, we're both basically saying the same thing. We've got to see development continue and spread within the program on both sides of the ball. I mean, the defense is there, but still, there's some areas that need improvement on both sides of the ball.
How about your number 3?
All right, number 3. You'll be happy that they're at least mentioned, but might not like the place. But I'm going to go with the mighty LSU Tigers at number 3. And I'm going to be very, well, as succinct as I can be. Let's be honest. And I think there are two things. I think Garrett Nussmeier makes them a top 3 team. I mean, obviously, they have a good defense. You're a little bit concerned about the offensive line, but I think I just out of gut feel like we're going to see some things come out of him this year that is him stepping up in the moment, him taking the team, not necessarily throwing on his shoulders and trying to force the issue, because I think they've got talent around him, but taking the reins and driving the team. I think we're going to see that out of him this year. I mean, there's nothing about him that would tell us we're going to see anything other than that. So I know it's a little bit of an obvious statement, but I really think we're going to see that out of him this year. What concerns me, the reason that at this moment I'm not willing to put LSU higher, is I don't think we have any reason to feel confident about the start of the season, no matter who they're playing. It's been a very difficult spot in Brian Kelly years. So before I'm going to start bumping them up, I got to see what the first couple of weeks of the season look like. I got to see how they come out of the gate. What does that look like? Do you show that your summer moved you forward as opposed to just kind of set you up for failure because of whatever goes on, in those opening games, whatever that is. So I got to see more than that, because I feel like if you look at during Brian Kelly's time there, where they start to where they finish, there's obviously been a build. They have improved. You've seen things get better. So if they can improve that floor during that first part of the season, I think that elevates their season, but I got to see that first.
Yeah, valid points. My number 3 is Georgia.
The Bulldogs.
I think Kirby Smart is still the best coach in the SEC. He's going to have another great team.
Mm-hmm.
The defense will be stout. I'm concerned about Georgia's offense. What I saw last year concerned me.
Mm-hmm.
When you play in the SEC, you're playing against elite defenses week in and week out. Does Georgia have enough on the offensive side of the ball to win the SEC again? I think that's the big question surrounding at this point with the Georgia Bulldogs. So that's why I have them at 3 and not any higher.
Valid points.
Let's move on to Dose, number 2. Who is yours?
I'm going to go with the Texas Longhorns. Just being very honest, strictly off of gut. Why I have them at 2 and not 1. I think, yes, we're obviously expecting incredible things because there's a Manning at quarterback. Everyone is expecting that. You can't argue with all the pieces that are on both sides of the ball. You can't argue with what Sark has done. and shown the ability to sustain, not just done, but shown the ability to sustain. But at the same time, I know his last name is Manning, but he's got to prove it. And he's got to prove it over the long haul of facing SEC defenses, not a start here, a couple of series there, walk on the field, take control of the team in the huddle, step out, look at an SEC defense and say, here's what's going to happen, here's what I'm doing. And he's got to do it every single week in his first year. So I don't know about that. So that's what has me keep them at put them at number 2 instead of number 1.
What is it about us in Texas schools? I have Texas as my number 2.
You really? Okay.
You stole most of my reasons why.
Sorry about that.
I like Arch Manning's
I do
upside.
too.
He's got the pedigree. He certainly is a talented quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
My question with Texas is, how do they handle the bullseye on them this year?
Very good point.
It's a very different game when you are the one that's being hunted as opposed to when you are the one doing the hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Texas is going to be hunted this year. I guarantee you, for every commentator out there that is singing Arch Manning's praises, there's an SEC defense posting bulletin board material about that. We need to see how Arch Manning handles that pressure, how he shows up in big games. Texas has struggled in the big games. And let's see how they do this year. Sark has done a great job in Austin, but those lingering questions are the reasons why I keep them at number 2 and don't put them up in the top spot.
Great points.
That takes us to number 1.
I have a feeling that we're going to differ here because you've already said the team I'm going to say. I don't have Tennessee or Alabama at number 1, so let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. Neither one of them are in my top 5. They could have easily been, but they're not. I'm going to go with Georgia. Yes, there are some questions, and the largest majority of them are on the offensive side of the ball, not only with who's going to be there, what are the pieces going to look like, but also with at a coordinator with Mike Bowo. I mean, what's that going to look like? That being said, Kirby Smart's Kirby Smart. And just like we spent years talking about Saban's going to figure this out, it's not on the same level. And I'm not making a apples to apples comparison, but I think Kirby has earned some of that same level, similar levels of respect of, yes, there are questions, but he's shown us in the past he can figure it out. And I feel like he's going to do it again this year. So obviously Georgia's going to have the talent. So what's their true edge? And I think that's Kirby. So I give them the number 1 spot.
It's hard to bet against Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
Well said. I'm going on number 1 with the LSU Tigers, and the reason why is Garrett Nussmeier. That's the reason. You have a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback with the experience. He's paid his dues. The kid is a smart player.
Absolutely.
He's a great quarterback, a team leader. And so that's the reason I've got LSU at number 1. Secondary reasons include the fact that athletic director Scott Woodward has created a culture at LSU saying we expect our athletic programs to compete for national titles.
Absolutely.
The only 2 major sports at LSU that are not doing that right now are men's basketball and football. Mm-hmm. Brian Kelly has been given, basically, we could call it a blank check, an incredible amount of money to spend in NIL. He's assembled the team he wants. He's got his defensive coordinator in Blake Baker, who is crafting a defense that I think is going to surprise a lot of people this year. This is Kelly's year. He's got to at least make the college football playoff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going to go down in Baton Rouge if they fall short of that. Your point about opening game That's well taken. You look at LSU's struggles in that first game of the season. They've got Clemson this year.
Yeah.
Dabo's going to have Clemson up for that game. He's
Absolutely.
going to pull out his best motivational speech, and those guys are going to be driving through brick walls if need be. Can LSU match that? Can they win, get that monkey off Brian Kelly's back, win that first game of the season? You mentioned, and when you said LSU was number 3, their offensive line. That is the biggest area of concern. How's the O-line going to do? I'm really not worried about defense this year. I'm not worried about our running backs, our receivers, certainly not worried about our quarterback.
No.
I do have some concern about our offensive line, how that line is going to gel, how they're going to step up, because you better put on your big boy pants and play offensive line in the SEC, because the guys on the defensive line will run you over, and they will do that all game long if you're not
Bring
ready.
in the thunder. Absolutely.
So I'm going to go with Nussmeier. In Nussmeier, I'm entrusting this season.
There you go. I applaud you with reason, not just because you want to. I applaud you with reason for putting your team at number 1. Well,
I'm also feeling really good after Omaha. So
and that's exactly, we can win anything.
Why
anything.
not? Why not? Look what the baseball team did. Why can't the football team do that?
Exactly.
Well, y'all watching and listening, make sure you keep the receipts, because we're probably wrong on several of these, and you can remind us of that when that time comes. We're big boys. We'll own up to our mistakes. But
Absolutely.
from right now, this is who we have in our top 5, and we're sticking to it until the season proves us right or wrong. So we appreciate you listening, watching another episode. Again, this is our last episode of this season. We'll be back in the month of August. Have a great July. If you're vacationing, whatever you're doing, be safe, have fun, spend time with your loved ones, and we will be back to kick off the 2025 college football season.
It's getting closer.
Until then, y'all take care.
Have a great week.
Thank you for making the Brew and Shaver Sports Podcast your go-to sports show. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review our show if you haven't already. Your feedback is so important. Let us know what you think about this week's show. Send an email to brewandshavers@gmail.com or a text to our text line 318-390-3599. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you again for listening to the Brew and Shaver Sports Podcast. See you next week.